Hello, how are you? I hope you're doing well. Today's recipe is a crème caramel cake, one of the most delicious and amazing types of cakes, also known as the magic cake because its layers separate in the oven. It's an incredibly delicious and unique cake, and I'll prepare it with you in a special and delightful way. I'll also be making it with a hot milk cake, which is also delicious and has a texture similar to a pound cake. It's quite special, but you can use any cake you prefer. I wanted to make it with this type of cake for today's recipe. But don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share the video with your loved ones. Let's start by placing 3/4 of a cup of sugar, or if you prefer more caramel, you can use a whole cup. Begin by melting the sugar from the edges in a pan, stirring it with a wooden spoon until it's completely dissolved and reaches a golden color without burning. Once it gets to this perfect consistency, pour it into a cake mold. Oh, and an important step I forgot to mention is to grease the cake mold with butter. Please don't skip that. Grease the mold, then pour the caramel in. Now, let's prepare the cream. Pour 1 cup of milk, 1 cup of liquid cream, and 1/3 of a cup of sugar. Then heat all the ingredients until they're fully warm. Next, we'll prepare the cheese mixture. I have 200 grams of cream cheese or another type of soft cheese, to which we'll add 4 eggs, 1½ tablespoons of, and 1½ tablespoons of high-quality vanilla. Stir all the ingredients together until they are completely combined. At this point, you can use a regular mixer. Now, gradually add the warm milk and cream mixture. This step ensures a smooth texture for the crème. Once the mixture is ready, pour it into the cake mold. It's important to note that the mold here is a small size so that the cake rises nicely. I recommend using a small bundt cake mold with an open center to give the cake a beautiful shape. But if you don't have this type of mold, you can use a regular one, either a 21 centimeters mold or any smaller mold you prefer. Next, let's prepare the cake batter. The cream mixture only takes a little time to prepare, so now we'll move on to the cake. Start with 2 eggs, 3/4 of a cup of sugar, 2 tablespoons of vanilla, and a 1/4 cup of oil. Mix all the ingredients together until the batter becomes light in color. Once the sugar is dissolved, add 1 cup of flour, a pinch of salt, and a teaspoon of baking powder. Then mix again. After combining all the ingredients, heat the milk. Add half a cup of milk to a pot, along with 3 tablespoons of butter and heat until they start to boil. Once the milk and butter mixture boils, pour it over the cake batter and mix. Now, the cake is ready. Look at how quick it is, yet it's delicious. You can prepare this cake for events, gatherings, or parties. It's always a hit, and both adults and kids love it. Plus, it looks amazing. Pour the cake batter over the creme caramel mixture in the mold randomly, and the layers will automatically separate in the oven. In this recipe, I used the hot milk cake, but as I mentioned earlier, you can use any cake you prefer. You can even use pre-packaged cake mixes from the supermarket. Next, place the mold in a hot water bath in the oven at 180 or 190 degrees Celsius, depending on your oven type. Leave it until the cake is fully baked. Once it's done, allow it to cool until the next day. Afterward, gently separate the cake from the mold, being careful during this step. As you can see, it turned out beautifully, even though I forgot to butter the mold. Still, look how firm and appetizing it looks. I encourage you to try it to taste how delicious and easy it is to make. And as I mentioned, you can adjust the amount of caramel as you like, even using 1 cup of sugar for a less sweet caramel. Thank you, and see you in the next recipe in future videos.